Hello, can everyone hear me? Okay, I'm gonna start. All right, good afternoon, everyone. My name is Kym'Bria Green, and I am so excited to be here today. Probably could tell I'm ready to burst with confetti, but I am a software engineer by trade, and oftentimes as engineers and innovators, we just do not know how to communicate the best with people. And so sometimes we are missing something, and I'm going to get to that in my presentation. So today, my talk is on the human algorithm, and it is why soft skills build bridges. That is the theme of our summit this year, and I think that is so crucial, especially being in the world that we are in today, where there is so much polarization, there is so much just ugliness. And we need to know how can we build bridges so that we can break barriers. So this is our agenda. You go to the next slide. Okay. All right, so this is a question for y'all. We all know that one person who is maybe a beast at their job, but they're a beast to work with. You dread every moment with that person. Have y'all been there? Okay. Yes, you dread working with that person. They're just agonizing. They may be the most efficient, the smartest person in the room, but every interaction with them just leaves you feeling drained, maybe burnt out. So what's the problem? Well, there's something missing. What if I told you that the most powerful technology that you possess is not in your laptop or your phone, but it's your ability to relate to people? Introducing the algorithm. So in my field, algorithm is just a simple way to say that it's steps to solve a problem. But and I want to also mention for every term that I mention here, don't worry if you're not into tech. I'm going to translate everything for you, so no sweat. Okay, so you can also think of an algorithm like a formula or recipe, and in this picture is the pita bread algorithm. I'm not sure who's interested in making pita bread, but I'm a visual learner, and I figured I'm probably not alone. And our algorithm is steps to essentially, like I mentioned earlier, to break barriers. And not just to break the barriers, but to build bridges. And so our algorithm is built on soft skills. And we're going to introduce those in just a moment. And that's our code, by the way. Okay, so our algorithm builds bridges. So justice plus kindness plus humility equals bridges built. And again, so the first part of our algorithm, variable, segment, however you want to classify that, is justice. So justice is connected to these two types of soft skills, which is communication and critical thinking. So justice is our function. So in my field, functions help us do a specific task and they execute it. And so a function, as I mentioned, has a job and it does it. So justice is our function. Everything from the decisions that we make, the actual words that we speak, our intentions behind that, is a form of justice. And realizing, as I mentioned earlier, the most powerful thing that you possess, the most powerful technology, is how you relate to people. So how do we act towards others? How do we act justly towards them? And so that is our function. And even, yes, how we show up in simple and difficult conversations. In practice, justice is speaking the truth with clarity and fairness. I know sometimes, I grew up in Michigan, I was born in Michigan, but most of my life has been in the South, and I know that a lot of times, as others probably can relate in the room, Southerners, we tend to sugarcoat things. And when you're from the North, it is cold-blooded, but it's usually straight to the point. And so we need to make sure that we speak the truth with clarity and fairness, and that we just are honest. Because in honesty, it is a crucial function so that we can start doing the hard work of figuring out what's broken and how to fix it. It's also addressing root causes, not just symptoms. You can't just have a Band-Aid over a bullet hole. You have to get a tourniquet. You have to go through the processes of using something to make sure it doesn't get infected. And you have to make sure that it heals and that you do whatever you need to do to make sure that there is no infection and that it's properly stitched up correctly. Also advocating for equitable outcomes. We are looking at who is our neighbor, who needs us, and we're not just spending our time, whether you are in tech or you are an entrepreneur or an innovator, you're not just spending all the time on your phone, but you're looking who needs your help, who may not look like you, may not believe the same things as you, but how you can help that person. And thinking systematically about the impact on others. There is a lot, we all know there's a myriad of things that are broken in our world. Systems, our administration. So we have to think systematically about the impact on others. I'm sorry, y'all. Emotional support human. Sure. Yeah. Next slide. All right. Critical thinking. Many of us, we've taken maybe the SAT and we have like our critical reading and writing. Well, this is critical thinking. This is thinking with not just intention, but practice too. Putting that practice and getting to a point where there is intentionality with everything that we do. And so this image, you see evaluation, fairness, flexibility, explanation, listening. You're not just thinking about your response, you're actively listening. And communication. So active listening, as I mentioned before, sharing feedback, not just being that person that just says things without listening to people. And I have been that person before who I already have my response prepared before listening to people. I'm sorry, y'all. I don't know why I'm so emotional. I'm so excited. Thank you. Having confidence, not just in yourself, but learning to be confident and learning to open yourself up to trusting other people. Yep. So I want to give you this quick reflection. Think deeply on what justice looks, sounds, and feels like. Just sit with that for a moment. Okay, so this is gonna be really quick, but this is my version of turn and talk. So turn to the person next to you. Name one moment where someone acted justly toward you and how it changed things. So go ahead. All right, does anybody wanna share? Go ahead.
So one of the moments that I felt was just for me and completely changed was back with the Obama administration passed DACA. For me, being undocumented in the U.S., being involved, volunteering, running political action campaigns, like everything under the sun in that realm, at that age, I was looking for somebody to say, yeah, here's the opportunity to make a change, here's the opportunity that you belong here. And so when DACA was passed, that to me felt like justice, and to me completely changed my life. I was able to become an interpreter, I went to school, I got my degree. It was fantastic. So justice and being treated justly can definitely make a change.
Thank you for sharing. All right, so our next segment is kindness. So with kindness, it's connected to the soft skills of collaboration and compassion. So kindness is our API, and API stands for Application Programmable or Programming Interface. And essentially what it is it acts like a bridge to connect the front end of a system, what we can see, and the back end of a system, what we can't see. And so the connection between those two systems never happens without kindness. So for example, if we see someone and maybe they look like they're having a good day, but really internally, they're having the worst day of their life. And we go and we just talk harshly to that person for whatever reason. You just made their bad day worse. But if we approach them with kindness, with good intentions, maybe it makes them feel a little bit better. And that little sticker, yep. So our API in practice, go back, there we go. Yes, our API in practice is leading with empathy and active listening. We are not coming up with our response. As someone's talking, we're listening. We're seeing how we can support them. Generosity and interpreting others' actions. Don't assume that somebody is just trying to come out of pocket. Try to assume the best of people and the best in ourselves as well. Providing a safe space for folks to be authentic. And I know for today's event, the committee, our sponsors, you all have really helped make this place feel like a safe space for everyone, whether you identify as LGBTQ plus or not. So good job, everybody. And assuming, again, clap, give applause for yourselves. Yes, and assuming positive vibes before reacting. Next slide. Compassion. So, didn't mean to, borrow from your mentee, but you see the biggest word here in this compassion tree diagram is compassionate. And there's a whole bunch of other words like giving, empathy, connection, just all of these things together just build such a solid framework for compassion. And this is by Greg, I'm sorry if I say his name wrong, Luganis, and it says, I'm a firm believer that you don't achieve greatness on your own. There's always someone to lend a hand. Next slide, okay. In collaboration, one of my favorite guys, Bayard Rustin, we are all one, and if we don't know it, we'll learn it the hard way. And then the other image is a bunch of puzzle pieces. And everyone is different in that image, and so are the puzzle pieces, colors-wise, and everybody's coming with their collaboration, their hard work, maybe their blood, sweat, and tears, and together to making a full, complete picture that represents the puzzle. Next slide. Okay, this is a reflection. So how many of you, and you can do by a show of hands, had a great idea, but you didn't feel safe sharing it? Okay, I'm seeing some hands, some head nods, okay. There was the communication, that API, that kindness was broken. Remember I told you it bridges. Our API, or kindness, represents the bridge of the front end of a system to the back end, what we can see, what we can't see. Those people didn't see that you had a good idea. They probably didn't show you some kindness for it, which is why you didn't feel safe sharing it. All right, next slide. And our last segment, and I want to just get a little personal here. So this is humility. Sometimes we think that because the opposite of humility is pride. And I don't mean just gay pride, although that's great too. Pride is oftentimes thinking that we are the smartest people in the room and that we know how to do we know how to do the things how we want to do them. And I have, over time, I didn't realize how prideful I was, because I always thought being prideful was like being, one of the superheroes. I was like, oh, look at me, I got muscles. But pride can be just not willing to want to work with others because you think you have the best idea. Being the person that wants to do the group project all by yourself and say, I'll just let y'all know when it's done. Yeah, that's been me. So, next slide. So, humility. I'm connecting this to the soft skills of creativity and continuous learning. Next slide. So, humility is our debugging. So, when we experience as developers when our code doesn't work for whatever reason, and I promise you, coding will make you question your life choices, is when the code breaks due to bugs. And it could be something so simple, or it can just be totally not. It is a time-consuming and it is a messy process. It's not pretty. It takes a lot of hard work, and sometimes you're not the only one that is able to figure out the bugs. Maybe you need to lean on someone else who maybe has more experience, or maybe they're just faster at debugging than you are. And so once we complete the debugging, it creates an overall smoother experience once completed. And we take feedback. What went wrong? We constantly seek our clients or our users, and we're saying, how can I improve on this? How can I make your life better? Because essentially, even if you're not a software engineer, innovators, entrepreneurs, we need to make products that matter to people. Because if we are not focused on our clients, if we're not focused on who we are serving, we might as well close up shop for the day. Because our clients are what matter. They are what essentially help us stay in business. They give us the money to keep our business going. And we want to make sure that we're listening to them. So, next slide. Willingness to, there goes that honesty aspect. Willingness to debug and to be honest. We've all got bugs, unflattering moments. Listen, I already put myself out there. I love to be the person that did the group projects all by myself because I didn't trust the work of other people. So, yeah. Being aware of your blind spots. You know, rather it is like for me, blind spots, some of y'all might say thorn in your flesh or your side. For me, it's pride. I struggle with pride, but I'm learning. I'm getting older. I'm getting wiser, and I'm learning to be less prideful and learning that others may be wiser than you. You may not be the only one with the answer. Shocking, I know. Being open and adaptable to feedback, and it's okay if you don't know the answer. It's okay if you're still learning. It's not a weakness, it's a strength. And that in of itself is a statement to be aware of your blind spots. Because then you open yourself up to learning more, to becoming stronger, faster, more capable. And yeah, you gotta take a kick to your ego. All right, next slide. Creativity. So, as I mentioned, I'm a visual learner, and I'm sure other people are too. But this person has a lot of ideas and a lot of different paths. And creativity may not look pretty. It may not be nice and neat. But we need to keep trying at it. We need to find the things that we enjoy. Hold on to them, not just think about how can I make money off of this, although that's great too, but really taking the time to be creative. And in creativity, we also find ourselves thinking of accessibility. You know, you can have a regular restroom, but how can we be creative for people who have parents that are in wheelchairs and need to go to the bathroom? Next slide. And continuous learning. I think Kendrick Lamar says it best. Sit down and be humble. And unless your name is Google, stop acting like you know everything. So, next slide. And the last part of this, we're almost done, I promise, is we have something called loops. And loops are when we have our functions, we have our conditions, we have everything established, and we want our program to do this repeatedly so that we don't have to stop and get one aspect and then puzzle piece another aspect and puzzle piece another aspect. We do this in a loop. And so this algorithm, running this algorithm, justice plus kindness plus humility, is a loop for success, and it helps us build bridges. And yes, I'm not sugarcoating it. The process is not easy. It's not easy at all, but it needs to be done. Because the better future of tomorrow, it starts with everyone in this room and people beyond this room. So we need to run the algorithm. We need to keep it on a loop. Next slide. Okay, so I have some homework for y'all. And you can do this now, but it is for you to take home. And essentially, I want you to think about all the areas we talked about today: justice, kindness, humility. And what is one action that you can start doing today, maybe this week, maybe next week, that you can start intentionally incorporating that. And you don't have to share with me today unless you're brave and willing to. That's not what I'm asking. But yeah. So we just have to run the algorithm, and we have to just do that. And this quote is one of my favorite quotes by Maya Angelou, because to me, I feel like it strongly resonates. And y'all know it's Black History Month, and I just think that this is one of the best quotes that anybody can benefit from. And it is, people will forget what you said, people will forget what you did, but people will never forget how you made them feel. Run the algorithm today, and if there's any questions can begin.
Take questions later?
I can take them now.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Any questions?
All right.
Can they see you after if they have questions?
Sure.
How do you know if you're the person that people avoid or dread talking to?
How do you know if you're the person well,
Asking for myself.
Asking for my-
okay, I remember this when I was an RA. We had to do a bunch of, when I was an RA, we had to do a lot of different things like conflict management styles, the Clifton Strengths Finder test, and yeah, things like that. And I would start there. I would start by taking like a conflict management style. The 16 personalities test is really good. It is scarily accurate. I don't know what they're doing over there, but it can help you understand how you relate to each other, interactions that you might feel maybe threatened by or that you might feel uncomfortable. So I would start there.
I really worry because I have employees, right? And so the power dynamics, it's not on them to tell me if I'm the problem, right? So I was, maybe a good boss.
Definitely. And you know what, since you mentioned that, it might be a good idea for you to also everybody to take those types of tests, because it can help you learn how to relate to each other as a team, as a collaborative unit. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Huh? Oh. Oh. I always get confused, but I think it's INFTJ, I think is what it is. Yeah. Yeah.
I just want to say this was great.
Oh, thank you.
It was awesome. We're so proud.
Thank you.